Okay, COVID-19 pandemic chronology video for today, Friday, 2 December 2022. Coming at you from the city of Shoreline, Washington State, United States of America. It's day 8 of my 2 to 3 week pandemic weight regulation plan that I'm sharing in these video updates, seeing if I'm successful. I was successful yesterday in food and exercise, and I've finished my exercise for the day and I'm on track to finish my food for the day. So day 8 overall, day 5 of a 14-day minimum streak on the Tanis diet with PMS modifications. So that's the weight check-in for the day. Getting back to the gift cards thing, so yes, it did the happy conclusion to the story, so I couldn't use the gift cards in store because the PIN was the same or 1 digit different, and so I went online to try using it, and I don't know if this issue is pandemic related or not, COVID-19 pandemic related or not. So I ordered online, and the gift present for my grandma Connie arrived today, and I have already wrapped it. So as of today, all of my presents I have gotten, I bought, got, and wrapped. All done today, 2 December 2022. I finished buying them all in November 2022. Yeah. And so there's an update on that. I have also achieved my 100th edit on Wikipedia for the month, which makes this officially a breakthrough year for me. First year on Wikipedia hitting the baseline minimum of 100 plus edits per month for 12 months in a calendar year, so January to December, at least 100 edits each month. And I have now 100 plus edits for each month, 2022, and it's the first year I've done it, and that is in large part thanks to me being like, all right, I'm going to write on Wikipedia during the pandemic. So a bunch of pandemic pit crew work has contributed to that. And then let's see what else I got on here. Something else kind of pandemic, pandemic related is living through an independence movement. So the city I'm living in, city of Shoreline, when we first moved here from Seattle, it was actually part of Seattle proper. It was not a city yet. And in 1995, the year that I started attending school, which actually matters, the city became like its own city. And it mattered because it was viewed as something that could become its own city because it had its own school system. So I started the year that it was officially like, okay, it can become its own thing, kind of thing. And so that living through an independence movement, so 1995 was kind of the big year. To go through one successfully, so in my lifetime and in my time living here in Shoreline, which used to not be Shoreline in my lifetime, the number one key to success in at least the independence movement of the city of Shoreline, where I currently reside, and resided before it became its own city, if I'm recalling correctly, was the key is documentation of fact. So a lot of people go after like influencer angles and stuff, which is kind of blurring the lines or stating something they want, which is different than a stating of fact, a good percentage of the time. And so the key to success was, this is the fact, and this is what we already have in place. We have our own school system, so the school system isn't an issue. Don't even have to worry about breaking up schools. It's already its own, operating on its own thing. And so establishment of fact matters. There is, however, it is not over in a sense. The thing that we kind of got ingrained with, so it was brought up in school, right? We're now in the city of Shoreline, not the city of Seattle, or that kind of stuff, or we're still trying to go further and incorporate, or which is, it was still talked about in school, and it was like, you guys aren't old enough to vote yet, but it'll matter when it votes, because once it's done, once we've actually achieved independence, we won't be able to vote for Seattle mayor anymore. So it actually changes what we can vote for, and has changed in my lifetime what we've, city residents of the city of Shoreline now could vote for. I just wasn't old enough for it to affect my ballot, because by the time I got registered to vote in 2010, when I turned 18, no, okay, approximately, there's some wishy-washy stuff around my voter registration with the state. So, okay, yeah, when I first registered to vote. So let's just not go. In my time, my history of voting in Washington State, I didn't ever get to vote for the Seattle mayor. However, when I was growing up, like, my parents still could, for example. So it actually did have an impact in that say. We don't get a say over the city of Seattle anymore. However, we are still part of King County, and so something that's been pushed for and continues to be pushed for in the pandemic is, this is how it's pandemic related, and I'll get to how it's pandemic related specifically for me, is the city of Shoreline continues to kind of push to remove itself completely from Seattle, and the easiest way to do that is to join the county of Snohomish County. So like when I vote on my ballot, I actually vote for a representative, my legislative district is actually both King County and Snohomish County. So some of the stuff I vote for already is joined with Snohomish County. So it would not be a new thing. We live on the border. It's on the border. Like Snohomish County is like almost exactly 1 mile that away. So the region is referred to as Snow King already, like Snohomish King, because it's the borderland. And so, like, I kept that in mind. So how is this independence movement continuing during the pandemic? Well, I would love to see the city of Shoreline join Snohomish County. And so one of the things I do is, like, with my stimulus checks, which are directly COVID-19 pandemic related, because at least thus far they've been my biggest source of, like, money I've acquired in, like, a chunk. I spent a good chunk of that in Snohomish County. So, like, thinking of supporting the county we want to join, not after the fact, but in advance potentially as well. So that's one way it's carried on. And so those are my pandemic updates for the day. I will go on one short tangent. So this video will go on my tangent playlist, or tangents playlist, is the sister situation. Some people are piqued about that. So where is my real sister if we're interacting with the lookalike? I have 5 possibilities for that. One, so it kind of left off in New Zealand, so maybe she's out there living in New Zealand, has like a alias or something, and is just living a grand life. 2, she is being held captive by a serial killer, or I don't know, something like that, or I don't know what else, who would hold people captive, but okay. 3rd, she's in prison, and the lookalike is part of like her still like retaining like face, so to speak. 4th, she's in a psychiatric institute, and 5th, she's in rehab. Which of those 5, like if I had to take a guess, I could see the saving face kind of thing possibly for like if she went to rehab, because she did a variety of drugs, and she is smart, like, and she is considerate at least some of the time. So I could see her doing something like that, getting herself clean, checking herself into rehab until she's like okay with where she is. And I don't know, with that one, the prison and the psychiatric institute, those are 3 of a kind, and that there might be some sort of term, but there's also conditions. So like there might be a term limit, but if a person has made 0 growth and development or something, or doesn't achieve the mental state they need to be in to be released, for example, she just might not be out. So yeah, that's my, if I had to venture a guess, actually I guess I don't really have one. I guess my guess is I don't really have one, but I could see the like rehab one possibly. I said if I'm making a guess in good faith of her and people who like antagonized her growing up, then I would probably go with rehab, because like I would guess she didn't check herself into a psychiatric institute, and people keyed her car growing up, kind of stuff. So I don't know if I would go with like prison. Like if she did, somebody else might have gotten her. That kind of thing is if I were to do a good faith guess, it would be something like rehab. And it might be like some really elite rehab, or same with like a prison or a psychiatric student institute is like, oh yeah, or yeah, something off grid, but that's part of guess one, is like living the life. So the prison, the psychiatric institute, the rehab could be something like something the quote unquote elite do, where they have like a private institute that's off the grid entirely, and like isn't part of like the social framework. Like it's a private facility, and in that sense, we just don't hear about it because it's private. Weirder stuff has happened, I would guess. But that's my tangent. So happy day.